Walking into a commercial pet store with aisles and aisles of different pet food brands can be very overwhelming. You'll see words like natural or prime, beautiful pictures of fresh meat and veggies falling from the sky, or wolves and bobcats creating the illusion of natural ingredients. When you turn the bag over, you'll then see a bunch of items in the ingredients list that you can't even pronounce. Many of these marketing tricks can manipulate you into buying a food that you think is good for your pet, when in reality, it's often not. As a pet owner, it's your duty to provide your pet with the absolute best nutrition that you can, because they're at your mercy for you to do so. In this video, I'm going to be going over pet food labeling and how to analyze it so you don't get tricked by buzzwords and marketing tactics. And I will also be going over how to identify ingredients listed on the back. So let's first go over the bag as a whole. On the front, we have the brand name, the manufacturer's name, and the nutrition claim. On the back or side, we have the guaranteed analysis, the ingredients list, and the nutrition adequacy statement. Let's start out with an important factor in the average person's decision-making process when looking at the bags: the product name and nutritional claim. There are different claims that manufacturers can use on a bag to make it sound more appetizing and appealing, but there are regulations surrounding them. For a product to claim beef for dogs, the canned food must contain at least 95% of that ingredient, not counting the water added for processing though. With water included, this can bring beef down to 70%, but that's still sufficient according to AAFCO. If the name includes a combination of ingredients such as chicken and liver, the two named ingredients together must comprise 95% of the total weight. You also may see the words dinner, recipe, entree, or formula on many dry or wet food packaging. For the manufacturer to be able to include these words, it only needs to contain 25% of said ingredient. And with water included in the canned food, it may only comprise of 10% of the food. Another issue with these vague terms is that it may include ingredients that it doesn't specifically state on the front of the bag. For example, if it says chicken formula for cats, it may also include fish. And if your cat isn't a fan of fish, this might be frustrating when your cat can sense there's fish in the food when you specifically thought you bought chicken. This is why you should always check the ingredient list on the back. Now, how about the word with? This is where it gets tricky and brands can mislead you into getting something you're not. Many bags will say dog food with beef, which can easily get misinterpreted as the first phrase I showed, beef for dogs. Where this phrase, beef for dogs, needs to contain at least 95% of that meat, a food labeled dog food with beef only needs to contain 3% of that meat. Yes, only 3%. This rule was originally intended to highlight minor ingredients that were not added in sufficient quantity to meet the dinner claim. But since AAFCO altered model regulations, they now allow the term with to be a part of the product name. But wait, there's one more. The flavor rule. With this word, a specific percentage of a protein isn't even required, but a small amount needs to be included to at least be detected. However, there's even a way around that. Commercial foods often contain digests, which are materials treated with heat, enzymes, or acids to create a concentrated flavor. Only a small amount of a chicken digest is needed in a chicken-flavored food, yet no actual chicken is even included. Okay, let's move on to the ingredients list. One of the first ingredients you often see is meat byproducts. This is unfortunately a vague term and impossible to evaluate. An example of a few meat byproducts are liver, kidney, and lungs, which do have nutritive value. However, this term can also mean udder, hooves, and connective tissue, which have poor nutritive value. The National Renderers Association states that pet food companies are playing a necessary role in the recycling of animal carcasses. After all, the waste from the human food industry has to go somewhere. If you found a bag of food that lists lamb or beef as the first ingredient and it doesn't say there are any meat byproducts, this must mean that the food is mostly made up of fresh lamb or beef, right? Unfortunately not. Pet food companies base their ingredients by their weight before processing. Meat contains about 75% moisture and naturally weighs much more than the secondary dry ingredients like rice, corn, and wheat flour. But when this meat is processed and the moisture is removed, it weighs significantly less than these secondary ingredients. Additionally, some ingredient labels list several related ingredients that are just different forms of the same thing, like wheat germ oil, wheat bran, and wheat flour. It's all essentially the same and is making up a huge chunk of that food. The majority of ingredients with names that you can't even pronounce are synthetic vitamins, artificial colors, stabilizers, and preservatives. Now, onto the nutritional adequacy statement. Anytime you see the words complete, balanced, or 100% nutritious, this means the product must meet certain nutritional levels established by AAFCO. The nutritional adequacy statement will also include the life stage, which is basically just the pet's age that the food is designed for. We have maintenance for adult dogs and cats, senior for the minimum adult maintenance, puppy or kitten for growth and development, and all life stages, which can be misleading since this isn't always the ideal food for seniors. While these claims are not deceptive, other claims like premium, natural, or organic still might be. Pet food labeled as premium or gourmet have no special requirements to contain any different or higher quality ingredients. When it comes to the claim natural, this simply means lack of artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives in the product, and does not mean the ingredients in the food are all fresh, natural ingredients. And then we have organic. While that sounds like it's the most appealing, there are levels of accuracy just like the ones I went over in the beginning. If it's labeled 100% organic beef, this means the beef is in fact 100% organic. If it's labeled organic beef recipe, then it only needs to contain 25% organic beef. It's also important to note that organic foods don't necessarily mean high-quality ingredients and can still contain diseased, decaying, and dying animals. While I will always advocate for a species-appropriate raw diet for dogs, cats, and ferrets, I want to also shed some light on commercial pet food so that others can choose the right food if they can't feed raw. If you want to learn how to improve your dog's kibble with fresh whole foods, or how commercial dry food affects your cat's body, check these videos out.